But we could talk about this draw all day, man. But let's look at CONCACAF, right? Let's look at CONCACAF before we wind things down. Let's look at CONCACAF. The USA would be fairly happy with this draw. Let's talk. As someone who live in the USA, and I have supported the USA team in the past as well. I've always had a soft spot for the USA team. My mom and dad lived in the USA for decades, and it became like my default team whenever there's a World Cup. So for the US, but I'm not gonna act like I'm the biggest USA fan. I'm not saying that, but I will be supporting the USA at the World Cup this time around. Amongst rooting for some other teams like a Croatia, a Belgium that I actually talk about in 2018. And look, the two of my teams that I really was following, they're in the same group, Belgium and Croatia. So yeah, but look, the USA will be happy with this draw simply because they have history with Iran from the 1998 World Cup, and they would want to right their wrongs from the 1998 World Cup indeed, where I think they lost to Iran, if I'm not mistaken. I'm right about that, right, guys? The USA lost to Iran in the group stages of that World Cup, and they will be looking to get the better of Iran this time around. So let me just go back to the 1998 World Cup, the group stages, really quick to just give you guys the right scoreline from that one. And USA, look, France and Denmark were in the same group in 1998 as well. Jeez, man. You know what I'm saying? France and Denmark just love each other. They just love to play against each other. So, look, Germany, Yugoslavia, Iran, and the United States. That's a hell of a group because when you think about the Yugoslavian war, Iran and the USA and their conflict over the years, the USA lost to Iran 2-0. 2-0. 2-1, pardon me. 2-1. Sorry there. 2-1. So they will be looking to exact their revenge on Iran come, in November. So the USA would be loving this group. I think they'll fancy their chances against Ukraine, Scotland, or Wales at a major event, but it's not going to be a pushover. So they would have to beat Iran, get a point from that game, and I don't think they'll beat England. But if they manage to do that and get a good goal difference, they might squeeze into the round of 16 with 4 points, because let's say Wales get through and they beat Iran and then draw against the USA and lose to England, then it's the USA and that team fighting for that place into the round of 16. So that group is going to be very, very tight. It is going to be very tight. I'm talking CONCACAF right now, guys. So that group is going to be very tight. But the USA, they have a big chance of getting out of that group. As for Group C and Mexico, there's also a chance of Mexico getting out of their group as well, because they're coming up against Poland, who could be hit and miss, whether, Robert Lewandowski is going to be fit enough to play that game, or whether he's going to be even at the tournament. That, they have to make sure they wrap him up in cotton wool. He doesn't overexert for Bayern Munich in the weeks leading up to the World Cup, and they have him fit enough. If there's an Argentinian or a Mexican player coming up against Lewandowski, let's say in the Bundesliga or in the Champions League prior to the World Cup, they might look to do something nasty. You see what I'm saying? Just think about it, guys. You don't want to do that, but things like that, it could happen. A hard tackle. You see what I'm saying? You want to stay away from Nicolas Otamendi, Robert Lewandowski. You know what I mean? You want to stay away from some of these guys, man, like a Acuna. You see what I mean? Stay away from these dudes, man, because you don't want to get damaged going into the World Cup. But Mexico should beat Saudi Arabia. No disrespect to Saudi Arabia, but, Mexico should beat Saudi Arabia. They should be able to get something from Poland. And an upset against Argentina, maybe? I don't think so. But Mexico also got a good chance of getting out of their group. The next team in CONCACAF, the ICC playoff, right? And I think that is the Group E, where Costa Rica and New Zealand find themselves. One of those teams will play Spain, Germany, or Japan, right? So that one is going to be a tough one. That one is going to be a tough one for Costa Rica because beating Spain and Germany is not going to be easy this time around. I know in 2014 Costa Rica did well. I know that. Don't say, hey, but damn, in 2014, you know what I mean? They did really, really well, but this is not 2014, guys. You know what I'm saying? This is 2022. This is 2022, and this is not the Costa Rica team, the young, vibrant Costa Rica team that we saw in 2014, where they had a tough draw with Uruguay, Italy, and England and topped the group, right, and got to the quarterfinals. This is not that team. This is an older team, but I hope, Luis Fernando Suarez is going to mix the team up and carry some of the impressive youngsters that we saw against the USA the other night and take those guys to the World Cup. I hope we see that happening. You know what I mean? So it's going to be tough for Costa Rica to get out of this group. Even against Japan, they're going to find it hard. I'm going to say right off the get-go that if Costa Rica gets through to the World Cup, that they won't get out of their group. Sorry, Ticos, but in terms of representation from CONCACAF, I don't think that they will get out of their group this time around. They failed to do that in 2018, and I think they will fail to do so again in 2022. And the last CONCACAF team that we're going to touch on is Canada. I think Canada got a fair group. You know what I mean? It's a challenging group, seeing that they got Belgium, Morocco, and Croatia. And Morocco will be looking at Canada like cooked food. You see what I'm saying? They will be looking at Canada like, oh, yum, yum. Haha, in my tummy. Come on over here, Canada. Get some of this Moroccan Atlas Lion, fever here. I had to just make that up on the spot, but it sounded good. Well, yeah, let's get some of that Saharan heat. So that's going to be an interesting matchup there between Canada and Morocco. I think, Canada do have an outside chance of getting out of their group. But off the bat, I'm going to say Canada are not going to get out of this group. Just early prediction here. I'm going to say Canada do not get out of this group. Croatia and Belgium might prove to be a bit too tough. There's still a chance. I'm just saying there's still a chance. But even Morocco might prove to be too tough for Canada. And just like 1986, they might not get out of their group again. You know what I mean? No disrespect to Canada, but, I'm just keeping it real there. You know what I mean? I don't think they get out of this group. I'm not going to be biased for Canada because they're in the CONCACAF region, and I did predict them to qualify for the World Cup. But that's as far as it goes right now. So for CONCACAF, I think the USA and Mexico, they got the best chances of getting out of their groups. But we could also see a situation where none of these CONCACAF teams get out of their group. There's also a possibility of that. Big possibility as well. So we got CONCACAF covered there.